Hi, this is Joseph Williams, son of John Williams, and you are watching the Nerf Herder Council.
What's up, everyone? Welcome to another episode of the Nerf Herder Council. I am your host, JT. We are live on Facebook and YouTube. We are live at those locations every other Wednesday at 8:15 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. If you're watching on YouTube, don't forget to click that like button and click that subscribe button and smash the notification bell so that you are notified every time we go live. We are brought to you by Audible. Go to audibletrial.com/NHC for your 30-day trial and a free audiobook download. And don't forget, you can get customizable Nerf Herder Council swag at shop.nerfherdercouncil.com. If you'd like to check out video replays of the show, you're at the right place, our YouTube channel. And if you would like to download audio versions of the podcast, just Google Nerf Herder Council. We're everywhere. So, download the show. It's free. Why not? So, without further ado, got a lot to get to here tonight. So, my esteemed co-host, my brother AJ, what's going on, man?
Hey, what's going on, brother? How you been?
It's been a minute. I'm very relaxed. I spent from 6 a.m. last Thursday till about 7 p.m. last Sunday, pretty much doing. Well, not pretty much. I did absolutely nothing except for sit in front of the television, and I was flipping back and forth between coverage of the Masters Golf Tournament and the live stream of Star Wars Celebration London as I was building the Lego DeLorean that you so generously got me for my birthday. So the DeLorean is built, Celebration is over, and I won $95 on DraftKings by betting on John Rahm to win the Masters. So it was a good weekend.
Sweet, man.
It was good. What's new with you?
Oh, not nearly as much new stuff as that. So kind of moving on, a little bit dull. All my fun stuff's coming next month. Don't worry about it.
What fun stuff might that be?
Oh, drinking a full bottle of rum with some friends at Porco Lounge. I might get down to Disney again. Who knows?
Yeah, I'd say those are fun things to do.
Yeah.
I'm jealous of Disney. That I'll be more jealous in years to come. Apparently, we'll get to that when we jump into some Celebration coverage here. But
I was gonna say, based on Celebration, you're gonna have plenty of time in the upcoming years to take other vacations. So,
oh, dude,
you want to start at the end of Celebration and recap that little bit of news?
Yeah. So, obviously, this year's Celebration was in London. And I actually tried to get our good friend Spencer Jowitz on here. He runs the Virtual Cantina Network, and he's the guy that sets up the Boon to Eve Classic, or I forget, Boon to Eve, whatever, that we were at in 2019 and 2022. That's where I placed second at the karaoke competition. And I asked him to come on tonight to he was there, so I wanted to kind of get his perspective on what he saw and what was going on. And he put so much work into this Boonta, because, it's overseas and all this other stuff. He's like, dude, I can't. I've been so wrapped up in this for the last several months. Like, I told my wife, I'm not doing any of my personal stuff for quite a while. I got to get back to being a husband. So, but yeah, it was in London this year. So, and they had already come out and said that it was the next one's going to be in 2025. Mm-hmm. And so we're thinking, okay, where's it going to be? Are we going back to Orlando? We're going to do Chicago? Are they going to stick in Anaheim? Whatever. No, at the end of the closing ceremony, they announced it's going to be in Japan. It's just outside of Tokyo. So, needless to say, I won't be going to the next Celebration either. So, it's just... But in a way, it's good. I mean, because I pretty much immediately figured out. I was like, all right, so the next one will be 2027 because that's the 50th anniversary of Star Wars. Okay. Mm-hmm. So I pretty much knew that that's what was going to happen. I'm like, okay, if I got to wait another 4 years for Celebration, that's fine, because I can start saving up now and just absolutely blow it out in 2027. And and this time I definitely will not miss the 50th anniversary panel. I don't give a shit what happens. Everybody I'm staying with, which is only going to be you, can fuck off. You don't have to fuck off.
The 40th.
Oh, God. That, dude, I still have a hard time watching that because I still get so upset about missing that freaking panel in 2017. That it still makes me so goddamn mad. that it's not even funny. So in any case,
Sorry, yeah. Of all the ones to miss, like we've been pretty good about it, but of course the one time we don't is like the best one.
yeah,
And
and
I
I,
had George Lucas and John Williams show up out of nowhere.
and Harrison Ford, for God's sakes. I was like, as soon as Lucas walked out, you and I went, God damn it. We were talking about that. Like, I bet you they get George Lucas. He's the first one. And then I was like, you know what? They got to get Harrison Ford. It's the 40th anniversary. I'm like, God, if he's the only guy they haven't gotten. And sure enough, like what it worked. David says, like, we've got C-3PO, Chewbacca, Luke Skywalker, Lando Calrissian. It doesn't get more epic than that. Or does it? Han Solo. I was like, that's in the hotel. I went, no! I hate you. So, yeah, that was not. God, that still annoys the hell out of me. I was trying to be generous and play along because I hadn't gone along with anybody on all the excess stuff leading up to Celebration. Everyone's like, we're going to the beach. I'm like, nope, I'm going over to the convention center. I'm going to try and break in, which I did. So, and finally, I was getting nagged so much about not doing things with everybody we were with. I was like, fine. You know what? I won't go stand in line overnight for the panel. I will watch it in the hotel room with everybody. And boy, oh boy, I was so mad at myself. And I was like, you know what? Of all the times I should have been selfish, this was the one. Mm-hmm. Oh man. So,
but you know what the problem is with this Japan announcement? You know, we passed on London because it was just expensive, and especially right after last year, where we could not afford a trip overseas.
Yeah.
And yet still we're kicking ourselves, right? Like they make these announcements, we're watching it on the live stream. We're like, damn it, I wish I was there. And
right.
Who knows, like based on the slate that they announced and what's going to be coming out between now and then, you know we're going to be kicking ourselves for watching that on a live stream too. Like that's what this whole show is going to be about, is running down all the stuff that we're not going to get to see at the next Celebration, basically.
Yeah.
Based on the slate that they already announced.
I mean,
they haven't even gone to anything that's going to be like 2025 or beyond. So all the stuff that we're going to talk about tonight is all going to have been released before the next Celebration.
Yeah. I mean, dude, they're 13 hours ahead of us. So basically, it's 9 in the morning there. So if we want to watch this, like the live stream, we will basically have to log on at, let me see, midnight our time for the live stream to start. And guess what I'm going to do? I'm going to log on at fucking midnight. It's
I
not
like the London time slot. I got to wake up and have all the news just waiting for me in my feed.
I was
got
up
to work. I'm like, oh, that's what they announced. That's what they announced. That's what they announced. I can now go about my day.
I was up watching it. I wasn't
Like
up
5
right
a.m. You're like, Star Wars. What?
I literally did. I had my alarm set for like 5:40. And I mean, I overslept. I think I woke up at like 7 one morning, but I caught most of it actually live. There's a lot of it. But I mean, that's what I took the time off of work for. So that was.
You are ridiculous, dude. Oh my
Well,
God.
you know what, man? I haven't had a chance to just sit in the house and literally have no plans and just, absorb the fact and enjoy the fact that I finally achieved the goal of buying a house and just sit here and kind of sit here and be like, man, you did it. And so that's what I wanted to do. And I didn't want to sleep the whole damn day away. So, I was up early and I was doing the stuff and you know what, dude, I was glad I did. I really enjoyed kind of keeping up with it that way. And I know in 2025, I'm only going to have to take one PTO day, for Christ's sakes. I mean, I might take the Monday off, but it's only a 3-day thing. So if I start at midnight on a Thursday, then who the hell cares? It doesn't matter. So, but I mean, I thought it was cool. And, so speaking of the live thing, I found myself going, well, some of the panels I wanted to see, like the main ones, weren't live streamed. I went, this is bullshit. They need to stream these. And I went, hold on a second. No. This is not bullshit. Because I remember you and I just like saying,
you've been
people
on
that
the
are
other end of
complaining,
that.
it needs to all be online. Like, no, you need to go to Celebration. But my immediate knee-jerk reaction was, this needs to be live streamed. So
I do wish they did it like a digital pass though. Like if you could buy a pass that would get you a live stream to all the stuff, or the free channel has whatever they select to allow. I think that'd be cool. Just throw webcams everywhere, and then like, if you pay for the pass, then you can, just like if you were actually there, you can like choose between the different panels that are all running simultaneously, and then you can just dunk in, duck out. I think that'd be awesome.
well, I think the reason that they don't do that is because they can't control what people are recording, and then like if you have the digital pass, and then like they show, I don't know, let's just say the Ahsoka panel, and they show some footage, they can't, they can't actually control you putting that stuff online. So they would have to, whereas at the event they could say put your phones down, and there's people that'll like make it, I mean, really that stuff, like, they actually got to see Thrawn's face. I haven't found that yet online. So, but if it's someone's on their computer, they're gonna just like digitally record the damn screen, so that can happen, or
Cut the feed.
yeah. Well, I mean, they could, but then also there wouldn't be live action video footage because of my fucking space whales. They're in live action. Did you hear that? Did you hear that? Seriously.
They were already in Mando season 3. What are you bitching about?
That was
This is
in a
old news.
shadow. That was in a shadow. This is the real deal. This is the real deal. They're going to bring
God.
those goddamn things into live action. That's going to be an episode in and of itself. We should do I'm just going to go live with my reaction so that when the space whales hit, everyone could just see me lose my shit.
Yes.
I was afraid they were going to do that.
Whenever that episode of Ahsoka comes out, I want you to go live with your reaction. Just stream yourself live.
Oh,
I want to see
God.
that.
Okay, so let's get into that news a little bit, because Ahsoka was a big deal. Acolyte was a really big deal. What did you think of the footage of Ahsoka? What did you think of the trailer? I really hate to be nitpicky here. I didn't think Hera Syndulla looked very good.
Yeah, I mean it's tough when you're casting live action versions of animated characters. You can get away with a lot more when it's like Bo-Katan, for example, under a helmet. Okay, and plus you happen to they modeled the character after the voice actress, so when you get the voice actress to play the live action version, it works. But, yeah, Hera never existed before they cast her. Sabine never existed before they cast her. Ezra never existed before they cast him. So, yeah, there's going to be a difference. I'm still having a hard time wrapping my head around Rosario Dawson as Ahsoka, because I'm so used to Ashley Eckstein, and the look of, I mean, I guess in the face, Rosario Dawson kind of looks like the animated character, but the voice is nowhere near. Like, just light years off. And I'm like, I'm trying to reconcile those two, but it's just hard.
Yeah. I mean, I'm okay with it, I suppose. This is the first time I've seen a character and gone, well, that just looks like somebody dressed up. I don't know why.
What's weird is they keep casting these people as voice actors that are actual on-screen actors. So there's no reason they couldn't have gotten Vanessa. I want to say Vanessa Williams, but that's not.
Yeah.
That's
Mm-hmm.
Is that her?
Mm-hmm.
Oh, I was thinking of Venus Williams. Sorry, that's the tennis player.
Mm-hmm.
Sorry.
Yeah, no
Anyway,
tennis
Vanessa
player there.
Williams. Yeah, Vanessa Williams. Once you cover her in green makeup and the Leku, she might not be the right age to play the part, but I'm sure you can make that up with makeup.
Well, yeah. I don't know. It looked kind of wonky to me. I mean, the show's going to be cool. I'm interested to see it. I really wonder what we're going to think of it, considering we are not fans of Rebels.
And this is my fear.
I mean, you have to assume we're going to see Ezra. If they do multiple seasons, maybe not in this one, but in future ones. So I don't know, man. Like, are you excited for Ahsoka?
I'm very on the fence about it because it's so Rebels heavy. Like, even the stuff that we saw in the trailer, I'm like, oh boy, this is just live action Rebels.
Yeah.
So, I mean, in general, like, Dave Filoni and Jon Favreau have the keys to the kingdom at this point. So if you're not down with the Mandoverse and not down with all the animated stuff that Dave Filoni started, you're going to have a really bad time with Star Wars over the next 10 to 15 years, I think.
Yeah. It's going to be great, and I trust the writing a lot. I mean, the way they're handling the Mandalorian is just incredible. And Andor was phenomenal. Kenobi was great. Book of Boba Fett I loved. I know that's not a very popular opinion, but Solo and Rogue One. I mean, they're knocking these things out of the park, dude. And so I trust them, even with stuff that I may not like in animated form, being Rebels. I think it could still be awesome. So,
there's always potential. They always find a way to like impress and surprise, right?
Yeah.
Like Grogu is a perfect example. No one was even thinking of a baby Yoda. And then the first
Right.
episode, here he is, like, oh my God, never even considered that. So I'm sure Ahsoka will have some tricks up its sleeve, and they're clearly leaning into the old expanded universe stuff. I mean, she drops the line "heir to the Empire."
I watched that with Steph,
book
and
title.
Yep, I watched that with Steph, and I went, oh, all the EU fanboys just creamed their jeans.
Yeah,
the whole meme of he said the thing,
right? and I know we're not talking about Mando this week. We're doing that in 2 weeks to do the season wrap up. But they did name drop more characters from that book,
Yep.
and Thrawn in this episode this week. So clearly, it's all tying together.
Yeah, I dude, some of this, the way that, God, the way they're bringing Thrawn back in is so cool. And I'm trying to get the timelines together in my head to figure out how this can all possibly, like, how it's going to tie together. Because obviously they're going to do it, and they're going to do it well. They already have started down that path. Stuff that was in Mando tonight was okay. You could see where it's kind of going towards The Last Jedi in a way. Like, and man, I can't wait to see how they do it. And it would, that actually leads us to another announcement. Dave Filoni finally directing a live action movie, and it's going to be tying together all the shows in like the Mandoverse or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
So, I mean, do you think that they can do that in one movie, or do you think that's going to be a trilogy?
I think it's going to be one movie. It's weird that they dropped the word trilogy, but I think what they just mean is we have 3 movies in the works, not that they're like a connected series of movies. I mean, if you think about it, it's kind of like The Defenders on Netflix was, where you had like Daredevil and Luke Cage and Jessica Jones and Iron Fist all with their own shows, and then here comes the crossover. I don't know, like they're building towards such a big thing here. They could do it as a trilogy, but man, I don't think they need to. I mean, I don't know where they're going with it, but obviously Thrawn's going to be the big bad, and there's some version of the Empire before the First Order that we're going to see, I would think, right?
I think it's the origins of the First Order, personally.
Yeah, that's been covered a lot in the books. So I wonder if they're going to be retelling those same events, or if they're doing the old like steamroll. Because the whole thing when Disney bought Lucasfilm and reset the continuity was like, okay, everything counts, everything's going to be consistent. And so they showed Order 66 in a comic book, and they showed what happened to Kanan Jarrus as a Padawan when Order 66 happened. And then the first episode of Bad Batch comes along and does it differently. Like, not super differently, but it definitely is not the same. It's different planet, different circumstances entirely. So they're already contradicting themselves anyway. So maybe they're going to take that Bloodline book by Claudia Gray and just kind of push it over here a little bit. Maybe they want to
Right.
tell those origins a little differently this time.
Yeah, I don't know.
And that's
it's
what I'm also the other thing I'm interested in. Sorry to cut you off there. A lot of the books, as I remember it from like Aftermath, for example, there was kind of like 2 versions of the Empire going on at this time. There are the ones that escaped the Battle of Jakku to the unknown regions, and they're busy building the First Order out there. And then you've got this Imperial remnant that we're seeing in Mandoverse, which kind of seems like the plan was we're going to leave enough Imperials behind to distract the New Republic with that crap while we're over here building the real threat. So
Maybe
all this stuff going on in Mandoverse right now might just be the scraps that are left behind to get their ass kicked.
maybe that's what they're going to do in the Rey movie, or otherwise known as Episode 10. You can't. No one's going to convince me that they're not doing another trilogy. If you're bringing Rey back, you can't just go, "Oh, hi, I'm Rey. I started a new Jedi Order." Dun, 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 dun. Like, no, that's not how that works. Like,
Plus,
there's
the Skywalker saga, and she's a Skywalker. So
yeah. I mean, if they want to call it something different than the Skywalker saga, that's fine. But I mean, come on, dude. You can't just say, "Okay, Rey brought the Jedi back. Here's one damn movie about it." Like, no. Like, you can make one damn movie about stealing the Death Star plans. You cannot make one damn movie about the Jedi Order coming back to life. You can't. Right. And I could see them, after what you just said, with because the sequel trilogy is, the big bad is the First Order. Well, and we know that Thrawn kind of gets exiled in the books, in the new Zahn novels. So maybe the bad guy when the Jedi Order is coming back up is this, secondary empire that's not the First Order. And then all of a sudden, like, Thrawn comes out of nowhere and he's leading this stuff. And that's who's fighting against Rey and the new Jedi Order. So
you might be onto something there.
I mean, that would make sense based on what you said.
So what do you think about this Rey announcement in general? I mean, the sequel
I love
trilogy
it.
is not well received.
I loved it.
Pariah.
Yeah, but here's the thing. Like, I loved it. And the reason being is because I love the character of Rey. I'm a huge fan of that character. I mean, and I have I couldn't even explain it. I was so surprised that I loved that character so much just happened. I wasn't like, I wasn't out to not like the character. I wasn't out to like it. It was just like, okay, cool. She's the new good guy. And something about her I just love. And so because people just crap on the sequel trilogy so hard, I love that they're bringing her back, and I love that they're writing all this intelligent stuff. And it seems like there's been a few things that I think they're going in the direction of trying to fix or make sense of the sequel trilogy, so that all the stuff that they put around it, eventually you're going to go, oh, now that makes sense.
It's kind of like the way the Clone Wars rehabbed the prequels' reputation a little bit.
Yeah. It's a very good example. So yeah, I think the stuff with Rey, when I saw that announcement, I was like, yes, because I love the character. And again, that's not a character you can just bring back for one freaking movie, especially with that premise. You can't. I mean, there's just no way to do it. There's too much to tell.
And the other thing is, if you're going to bring back Rey, the fan base is going to be clamoring for some Poe and some Finn.
Yeah.
Maybe even some Rose. Ahmed Best has been having a resurgence. So, why not Michelle Tran?
Yeah.
Marie Tran? I don't know.
Kelly Marie Tran.
Kelly Marie Tran. There we go.
There we go.
Thank you. I was talking with names tonight. Wow.
I'm not much better.
Yeah,
dude.
if you're going to bring back the main sequel trilogy character, the other ones, they can't be far behind, I would think.
Yeah.
I think what I've seen online lately, especially because you're right, the reception to this movie announcement has been like so positive.
Yeah.
Which is funny because, like I said, people are still taking dumps all over Last Jedi and Rise of Skywalker.
Yeah.
I think people have finally come around to the idea that it's not the actors or the characters necessarily that they don't like. It's the story. So they can actually get behind the actors and say, hey, with a new script, we could really enjoy you.
Yeah.
Like,
well, and I think the actors see the
finally,
writing. Yeah, I mean, and I think the actors see the writing that they're doing now, and it actually makes sense. It's not, like the main complaint, we've talked about it ad nauseum, but the whole, let's have 3 different people write 3 different stories and stick them together. Like, that doesn't work. Like, that's not, it just doesn't work like that. And especially with Filoni and basically being like the new George Lucas. I mean, that guy, for a lot of fans, that guy already could do no wrong. And I get it, But for me, not being a huge Clone Wars guy, I was like, I knew who he was, and I thought he did great stuff. He kept Star Wars alive and had the, the George Lucas feel. But I wasn't like, Team Filoni like a lot of people were. I mean, even you, like, you love Dave Filoni. Now I love Dave Filoni because he obviously understands not only how to give the fans what they want, but to do it in such a way where dude, every single time I watch one of these new shows, be it Andor, I find myself laughing going, this is so well done. Like, this is so intelligently written. It's unbelievable. And especially for fans like you and I who know so much of the lore, when you see, certain names pop up, you're going, oh my God, are you shitting me? They brought him in, and it all makes sense. Even little cheesy things like, spoiler alert for today's Mando episode. When they have Grogu in IG-11 and he's got the button that can say yes or no, and he's walking down the street and just going yes, 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 like that's him going yay, like it's funny, it's cute and everything. But then the two Mandos get in a fight and he steps between them and just hits one button and goes no.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah, brilliant.
It's just brilliant. Yeah, it's amazing. And so I have all the faith in the world in them that they're going to knock these movies out of the park, because I don't care what they say. They listen to the fans, and the sequels were pretty much universally derided for not having that cohesive story.
Mm-hmm.
And
the other thing that I'm excited for, you could tell the difference in the writing. Like, as much as we love Revenge of the Sith, you take like Anakin and Obi-Wan in that movie and compare that performance to what they did in Kenobi. And a lot of people have issues with Kenobi as a series overall, but the acting and the performances, it's not just that those actors got better over time. It's that they were given better material.
Yeah.
So I can only imagine if Daisy Ridley could pull off Rey in pretty much a universally liked way, which is impossible in Star Wars.
Yeah.
With the material she was given with those movies, imagine a good script.
Yeah.
It's going to be fantastic.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. And it opens up so many opportunities for other characters. You can still have Luke Skywalker as, the Obi-Wan Force Ghost type of thing. Like, it's a rehash, but I'd be all for that. I think it would be a cool callback, and I think it would be a great way to bring Luke Skywalker back into the story. Obviously, fans lost their collective goddamn minds when he was in Mando. I know I would love it. So, you could do that. Ben
Solo's going to be her Force Ghost.
Dude, I have to be honest. I'd be okay with that. I'd be okay with that. I think that would be kind of cool. That would be a very cool thing to do. And with the advances in technology, dude, for all we know, maybe by the time all this stuff hits the screen and everything, maybe they can actually recreate Carrie Fisher as a Force Ghost and actually nail the voice, and you can actually have Princess Leia as her Force Ghost. Like, that would just be, dude,
that would be cool. That would be really cool.
They didn't have the voice, but look at how good the ghost of Egon Spengler looked in Ghostbusters Afterlife. That was beautiful. So why couldn't they do that with Carrie Fisher and just figure out something with her dialogue, Mm-hmm. So, I'm very excited about that news. I was thrilled when they announced it. With one caveat, though, and you brought this up and I agree completely, I'll kind of believe it when I see like a poster. Like, they have screwed the pooch on these movies so badly. It's just unbelievable. It's like, oh, we're doing a movie. No, we're not. To the point where what was the most recent one that they were doing? I forget what the guy's name was, but I saw a news article on Saturday that said, oh yeah, he confirms he's doing it and we're full speed ahead. And then Monday was an article, yeah, he's out. Like, what the hell? What the hell is that? Like, 2 friggin' days? So, yeah, I'm kind of with you that, I'll believe it when I see it. So,
that's so there is the one movie that we didn't discuss yet, and this is an interesting one. It's 25,000 years in the past to the original Jedi. What do you think about that one? A totally like unexplored time period. Like, that's even before the Old Republic online game. Which was, I think, like 10,000 years in the past or something. So no Empire, no Jedi, no Sith. They're just figuring out the Force. Like, I don't know. I guess the dude levitates for the first time. He's like, holy shit, what was that?
It's like Spider-Man with the webs, like trying to figure it out. Like, right? Just, I don't know about that one. I'm sure it'll be cool. I love anything Jedi and the Force. That's probably my favorite part of Star Wars outside of Han Solo and the Millennium Falcon. but those
Are you
types of
excited
things.
to see an unexplored time period?
Yeah, I have to wrap my head around that. I still haven't gotten into the High Republic, which I'm going to force myself to get through those books because, again, more news coming out of Celebration. They're really going to start leaning into that era. Originally, it was, we were led to believe it was just supposed to be in print, but now it's obviously going to be in the television shows and the movies and stuff like that too.
Yeah, it's got its own comic series too.
Yeah, it's hard for me to latch onto it when there's not a lot of familiarity there. And I that's probably a closed-minded way to look at things, but I think sometimes, like, and I think we've discussed this, like, sometimes there's too much Star Wars, and I'm like, okay, this is just too friggin' much. Like, there's too much there. And I don't know if this will be that for me. Because, I mean, if they're introducing something that far in the past, that means they can go anywhere with that because it's forever and a day ago. So at that point, if we've got like a million threads going, I'm like, okay, well, which one do I follow? And is it going to be interesting? And so, I mean, I'll watch it because it's Star Wars. I just, it makes me a little nervous. Where do you stand on that one?
I'm like you. There's so many unknowns about it. And the only thing I can even try to attach it to is something like, I'm crossing franchises here, but that Star Trek Enterprise show where they were like, wouldn't it be interesting to see the first ship like 100 years before the one you knew? And it's like, oh, so I'm watching. So they don't have all the cool things that made the original ship cool. We're just watching them discover it. Like, oh, that's a transporter. Oh, we don't have to use. We can use a tractor beam instead of a tow cable. Like, wow. It's like, nah, no, not really. It's like handing a kid a PlayStation 5 and then being like, but check out this Nintendo over here.
Yeah.
Like, I don't know.
Yeah.
I mean, we'll see. We'll see. That's all I could say. And I'll give it. Here's what I will say. They've done such a good job with storytelling, like you said, especially since and everything outside of the sequel trilogy. I trust the creators to have something good in mind.
Yeah.
But that's as much as I could say right now because I can't even think like 25,000 years in the past. Are we going to have droids? Probably not. I mean, the Force doesn't exist, so lightsabers don't exist. I mean, what of the Star Wars universe is going to be familiar to us?
Yeah. I mean, at
Maybe
25.
This might be like a Prometheus to Aliens kind of thing.
So it's going to be really confusing?
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
By the way, sorry I keep itching on camera here. I got a haircut. And I haven't had a chance to rinse, so it's a little itchy. Yeah. I mean, what's it going to be? 25,000 years? What is it going to be like our world? Like there's going to be people walking around New York City going like, and all of a sudden they get pissed at something, and a mailbox kind of crumples a little bit. Like the hell was that? You did that with your mind. What? You forced that. You forced that thing to friggin' crush itself. Like forced it. Force. Like that'll be. Oh God, I'm really mad that I even had that thought because now it's going to be in my damn head, and I'm not going to be able to get it out till the friggin' movie comes out. That's gonna suck. So.
Yeah, but like you, until I see something like I see a trailer in a theater, like don't give me Patty Jenkins walking up to a fighter jet saying, she's been waiting to make this movie. Because we already had a release date, we had a director, we had the teaser announcement, and no Rogue Squadron to be seen. So,
yeah, not a thing. Me, Mark, good to see you, man. She said Jurassic Wars, the pre-Star era. Nice. That's going to be the crossover, right, Me, Mark? It's going to be Jurassic Park and Star Wars.
Right.
Oh, my God.
Yeah.
So
yeah, I think the movie, the fact that they're even looking at movies though is exciting, and the fact that they announced them at Celebration is still progress because like they were making announcements of like, oh yeah, Ryan Johnson's going to do a thing, and Kevin Feige is going to do a thing, and Benioff and Weiss are going to do a thing, and then they all fell apart. Like they haven't officially scrapped the Ryan Johnson thing yet, have they? But it's just like
no, but silent. You haven't heard anything about it.
Yeah, same with the Taika Waititi film. Feige's out, we know that.
I think they said that the Taika
these things way too soon.
I think they said at Celebration that Taika Waititi's still going to direct something. So I
He's
heard
got to
that.
at some point. He's definitely involved in a lot of
Yeah.
stuff with the Mandoverse.
Yeah. So, yeah, I mean, it is more official when you say it at Celebration, because if you go, hey, we're doing this at Celebration, and you end up not doing it, your credibility gets kind of shot. I mean, you can't really, especially if you're rolling out Daisy Ridley, like, hey, she's back, and then like a year from now, like, director problem. Check out our new TV show. God damn it!
Right, exactly.
It's boy. So
we've got so much stuff to keep us tied it over until the movies come out. Like, I mean, okay, so here's the slate of TV stuff just announced. Again, this is all coming out in the next 2 years.
our cousin Chris says he's directing IG-12. Nice. He said, "Never mind, that's Grogu." Oh, that's awesome, man. All right, so
let's run down the slate here. We've got
Okay.
Ahsoka coming out in August, right? So there's
yes,
there's our next dose of Mandoverse after next week. At some point, then we're going to get Andor season 2 late next year. They said that they're filming that right now. So we got more of that. How pumped are you for that, by the way? I mean, I love that they're actually filming it. Like, it's officially happening now. It's in front of cameras. Because that's another one where I was like, they kind of hedged their bets a little bit. They could have just stopped the story right there if they wanted to.
well,
They
I mean,
said
they
were gonna
did.
do 2 seasons, but if it had been a bomb, they would not have gone through with the second one. They clearly waited to see the reception of the first before investing in the second.
Well, I don't know, man. Like we just said, they did announce it at Celebration for that panel. Like, hey, Andor's 2 seasons of 12 episodes apiece. Like, so it was Celebration official that last May. So, yeah, and in terms of how pumped I am, I mean, dude, this butts right up against the beginning of Rogue One. So we're going to get K2SO. I mean, just that alone. They already said that. See, now I'm forgetting the damn
Alan
actor's
Tudyk.
name. Alan Tudyk. Like, they already said he's cast in the show, so he's gonna be
Nice.
there.
Okay. Sweet.
So yeah, so you're gonna get K2. I mean, especially since this runs right up into the beginning of Rogue One, he's with K2 at the beginning of Rogue One. So, you know, so yeah, I'm super pumped for that one. So, I'm just surprised it's coming out late next year. I thought it would be a little sooner than that, but you know, oh well.
Yeah, well, everything is all like kind of slippery with their release dates. You notice they never really pin down a date until usually like a month ahead. They might like give you a month, like it says August 2023 for Ahsoka, but it doesn't say when in August. It's 4 months out, and they won't tell us the actual week. They got to have this thing nailed down by now. I don't know why they drag it out like that.
Well, remember though, like with Kenobi, it was, hey, here's an episode. Oh wait, no, here's 2 episodes. And what Andor was what, the first 3, wasn't it?
Yeah.
It was something crazy like that. So, you know, I think they hedged their bets just in case they could do something like, or have to do something like that. So, all right. So, anyways, back to the schedule. So we got Andor late 2024.
Okay. Still coming out this year, supposedly, is Skeleton Crew with Jude Law and the kids, whatever the kids end up being.
A bunch of kids.
Do
Yeah.
we know what time frame that takes place in?
I do not. Excuse me, good Lord. The only thing that I really kind of know about it is what we were told at Celebration, which is the fact that it's kids get lost in the woods and Jude Law's got to find them.
Yeah.
So, okay. So that's kind of cool. It'll be interesting. That I think is going to be. They announced that it's not going to be a kids show. They did say that as well. They're like, this is, you know, it has kids in it, but it's not aimed at kids. But I think kids are still going to get into it. I mean, how could they not? I mean, it's not like, you know, they're going to take the show with 4 kids and just have blood flying everywhere and guts and decapitations and everything. So I think little kids are going to kind of get into it. It's going to be one of those, oh man, that's like me. You know, like people seeing like, you know, young Leia in Obi-Wan, kind of one of those things.
Yeah, okay, so I'm reading a synopsis here on Discussing Film. It says, the kids get chased by aliens of a kind and run into a Jedi played by Jude Law and soon get taken under his wing. All right, so he's abducting children, apparently.
Let's not even go there.
Right, but it doesn't say anything about when in the timeline it takes place. So, yeah.
I think, if I remember, I think it's supposed to happen It's like a long time ago in a galaxy far, far away, I think is what they said. So,
Okay. Well, it says of the footage that was premiered, it said there are quick cuts to colorful aliens, including Vane, the surviving Nikto member of the Shards pirate gang from Mando season 3.
all right,
so probably going to take place in that Mandoverse timeline, I guess.
interesting. Okay.
All right, so we got some possible cameos going on there.
All right.
Again, I know so little about that show. I can't really get hyped for it.
Yeah, I mean, we'll find out more, I'm sure, as the year goes. That one really has been kind of in the dark, but at least it's happening. I mean, it seems interesting. I mean, again, it's Jedi stuff. Sign me up for more Jedi stuff. That's fine with me.
Right.
You know,
and eventually all this Celebration exclusive footage is going to make its way online anyway.
Yeah.
I mean, if Star Wars doesn't drop it, I'm sure it'll show up on Reddit or something else like that.
Yeah, for sure.
Okay, so moving on. Here's another one that changed a little bit. The Acolyte for 2024.
They were
This
all
thing
over
got a
this.
new logo and looks very different from the first one.
Yeah.
So our whole ooh, it's going to follow the Sith. What's going on? Not really the case in this one, I think, huh?
I still think it might. I really still think it might. Maybe not as much as we would have hoped or thought, I suppose is a good way to phrase it. But I still think that's kind of the direction it's going to go. They must really believe in this show because there was a ton of stuff about Acolyte coming out of Celebration. That was the big takeaway for me was how much they were hyping Acolyte. So that must be the one that they're kind of like hedging their bets as like the next great Star Wars show, which is cool. Apparently there's a lot of fighting in it, which is fun, and they got some really great martial arts actors to, take part in the show, and it was, so that's cool. I think it'll be cool. I'm interested to see it.
Yeah, it'll be interesting. It's interesting that it's waiting until next year to show up because what I'm reading here says that it's going to be wrapping production next month. So it's just going to be done and on the shelf until a year from now, sounds like.
Well, sounds stupid, but we're halfway through April. I mean, if they have to take 6 months for post-production or 8 months or something, you're at the end of 2023, beginning of 2024 anyway. And if you've already got Ahsoka coming out late this year and then Skeleton Crew at some point, I think they don't want to drop 3 shows in the same year.
Oh, it's a busy slate. Yeah, definitely.
Yeah.
Apparently, Kathleen Kennedy's already seen the first 4 completed episodes. So even post-production's been done on almost half a season of this stuff.
Yeah, I mean, well...
By the way, what the hell does Frozen meets Kill Bill mean? That's the pitch that apparently got this thing greenlit. I'm like, what? So we're going to be singing "Let It Go" while cutting people in half with a.
That's
with a
what I thought too. It's a gross, bloody musical. Oh my god!
Where is the Frozen part in here? I do not get it.
Maybe the main heroine is like wears blue and has a long blonde ponytail or braid or whatever. I don't know. That seemed kind of odd to me too. I was like that description does not instill a lot of confidence in me.
Yeah.
It
is going to take place between the High Republic and the prequels, though, so that should be interesting to see.
Yeah,
that kind of transitionary period. And the best thing, honestly, about this thing coming out, Juna Suotomo playing another Wookiee.
I know. Yeah, that's
a Jedi Master Wookiee.
Well, I wonder if he's going to play the Wookiee that's in the High Republic stories. What's it? Buri something?
Buryaga, I think.
Buryaga, yeah. Man, thank God that we are bailing each other out on these names tonight, because the ones you don't know, I know, and the ones I don't know, you know.
Right.
Our cousin Chris says, "Do you want to kill a snowman?" Oh my God, Mimar. It's just pretty big stretch there. Yeah, just a little bit. It's like I say, when I heard that, I was like, seriously? That's the comparison? Like, what the hell is that? So
yeah, that's bizarre.
Yeah, but no, it'll be cool. It seems like something different, and it seems pretty kung fu-ish to me as kind of what I'm kind of gathering from it. So, but that, I mean, if you have those crazy fights but with lightsabers and the Force, yes, please. Like that's pretty badass. It's definitely not going to be I don't know, Obi-Wan Maul from Rebels. I just had that argument with my boss last week. He was trying to tell me why. Oh yeah, okay.
Oh my God.
Quick teeny sidebar, but he's a huge not like we are, but he's a huge Star Wars fan, as both of his kids are too. And he hates the sequel trilogy. I mean, hates it. And he really likes Rebels, and he thought that fight was great. And he likes space whales. And I said, "Man, you are so lucky you are my boss, because otherwise I'd be screaming you down right now." But yeah, he thought the Maul Obi-Wan fight was great. Oh, it was meant to show how, it was beautiful because it showed how much further Obi-Wan had advanced and Maul hadn't. I'm like, yeah, that's great. He could have defended himself at least 3 or 4 fucking times and done something. So we've been over that before, but anyway. So moving on to the other news.
So that's most of the live action stuff that we've got going on. So I think that's plenty for the next 2 years. We just ran down 4 or 5 shows that are coming out.
Yep.
So as much as we're complaining like, oh my God, Mando's wrapping up next week, what'll we do? I don't know, wait like 10 weeks to get more. We are so spoiled.
Right.
It's like the Celebration thing. We're like, oh my God, it's going to be 2 more years. Like, it was always 3 to begin with, dude.
Well, now on that tip though, man, you know how it is. Like, I mean, you can't tell me that when you logged in and watched some of the live stream, you didn't immediately go, shit, I want to be there. Like, there's just an aura and a vibe and just such a good feeling at Celebration that it's like when you're not there, I always tell people, like, I cannot properly explain it to you, and you have to experience. Like, I can tell you're living in a world of Star Wars and everybody is in a good mood, like you had a rainbow shoved up your ass, for a week straight. But you don't really understand it until you walk into that convention hall the first time, and it's like Star Wars exploded out of your head all over a convention center. And you're just like, I mean, you just go, what? It's you know it, dude. We both experienced it at the same time. We froze in 2010 walking into that conference. We looked at each other and went, "Oh my God!" Like,
we had no idea.
Yeah,
no idea until we were there in person.
I still remember how cushy the floor was in Orlando. I remember that it was like magenta. And I remember the first thing I saw was a huge like Hasbro thing, and next to a big hanging thing that said Star Wars, and I was just going, "What in the hell? Oh my God!" And so when I
all it
go
took
ahead,
was waiting in line to get in, and we had the guy cosplaying as Peter Griffin as Han Solo, and I'm like,
yeah,
oh shit, these are the super fans.
Yeah,
we are in deep waters now.
Yeah. It's just, there's no other feeling like it, and I got that feeling watching it this last week, and it's why when it does happen in Japan in 2 years, I'll be watching online, because it's not nearly like being there, but you do kind of get into that vibe and that feeling. You're kind of like, oh sweet man, yeah, like you get pumped up. I was totally pumped up watching that stuff, and the Star Wars live stage is phenomenal. Mm-hmm. I spend barely any time at the Star Wars live stage when I'm actually at Celebration, but I loved watching that when it was online. I mean, if you haven't seen like the Giancarlo Esposito interviews, got to do that. There's one with Hayden Christensen where he basically almost cries. Like, you should see his intro. It is the coolest friggin' thing for a guy that got shit on so bad for so many years. That's exactly what he deserved to get. I'm getting goosebumps. I was watching it live, and I was like, this intro is insane. And the people would not stop cheering for him. They were so loud. He started tearing up, and he teared up again at the end. Like, it was just, it was beautiful, dude. It was beautiful. Knowing the shit that guy went through, and now to know that the fans actually do appreciate and love him, especially at this level. I mean, it's just so. Anyways, moving on. Let's get back to I was getting all sappy there. Sorry.
Yeah.
The Celebration gets me worked up.
Right. Exactly. Yeah.
But yeah. So like you said, lot of live action stuff, which brings us to the animation, which admittedly mostly could really kind of care less about. I do care a lot about this. Next year, 2024 is going to be the third season of Bad Batch and the final season.
Yeah,
That sucks.
pour one out. Rip.
That just sucks because I mean, this show kind of was a little, this season, I should say, was a little Rebels-ish for me. We should probably we can do Bad Batch and Mando. It's, in a couple weeks, but, there were some filler episodes in this season, I thought, but I still thought it was awesome. And I hate that they're only doing 3 seasons. Like, if you can get 6 seasons out of Clone Wars or 7 or whatever the hell, like, I mean, you can't give me more than 3 seasons of Bad Batch. Like, come on, dude. But it is what it is. So, how much did you enjoy Bad Batch? We haven't actually talked about it a lot. So, what is your impression of Bad Batch?
I'm really intrigued by the show. Like, the actual original premise didn't really stick me, but as soon as they started introducing, like, the cloning and, like, questions I never considered, like, what did happen to Kamino after the prequels? Like, what was that cutover from clones to stormtroopers like? And why do we see V-wings flying around in episode 3 and TIE fighters in episode 4 and all those other sorts of things that, like, definitely separate the Republic from the Empire, right?
Yeah.
So I love seeing all that stuff. The whole altered clone thing, I can take it or leave it, but they're using it to answer so many questions, and I'll tie it all the way forward to the Rise of Skywalker. So, I mean, whether that's a good or a bad thing, I don't know, but they're doing their best. They're doing the heavy lifting to try to make sense of Episode 9. So,
yeah,
you got to admire their bravery at least.
Yeah.
So yeah, I've been enjoying it, and of course, as an animation honk and seeing, like, the evolution from, like, the original Clone Wars to, like, season 7 of the Clone Wars to what we get in Bad Batch now. I'm just like, my God, like, you can still frame any of that and put it on the wall as artwork. It's just incredible.
Yep. Although I will say F them for killing off Tick.
Yeah.
So
as Omega says it.
Yeah, Omega, Rika, Hunter, Crosshair. Yeah, that I couldn't believe it. I was like,
surprising.
Now my boss did say, though, he's like, well, we don't see his body. I'm like, yeah, that's true. I mean, there's always they always in Star Wars. I mean, with the exception of
death.
Yeah, yeah, and with the exception of somehow Palpatine returned, we've generally gotten some. For the most part, they've brought characters back in really cool ways to where it's believable and it's not just chintzy. Like, it's not a Freddy Krueger with a dog pissing fire. Like, so.
Yeah, even in the series, I mean, Echo's in there, and he was definitely killed in an explosion in season 4 of the Clone Wars. So then to bring him back, like, oh, they actually kind of salvaged parts of him and rebuilt him as an android. All right, okay, I guess we're on board for this.
It is what it is, right? So yeah, that's a bummer that it's only that it's oh my God, this is gonna be over, because I really look forward to that show every week, and part of it I think is because they actually do more episodes, and they're like nicely digestible, like 22 minutes, 24 minutes, whatever they are. It's I love Mando and Andor when they're like an hour long. I love that, but when you only get 8 episodes of Mando, it's I feel like the season went by so fast. Like, we were waiting for the season to come, and now all of a sudden we're 1 episode away from it being over. Like, God damn. Excuse me.
Yeah,
it's like, damn it.
I just invented my own fan canon, though. So, that the Bomar monk in Return of the Jedi, how it's just like a brain in a jar? That's Tech. It's the only part of him that survived.
Okay.
Tech makes it to Jabba's palace. We haven't seen anything to disprove it, so I'm going with it.
True.
That's it. He's a brain in a jar.
Why would he be with Jabba the Hutt, though? Like a crime syndicate? Tough to
we'll
answer.
Get that in the book.
Oh, God.
We'll get that in a book or like a one-off, like, Christmas special comic or something.
Right. Lego special, like 5 minutes on Disney Plus.
They're actually, like, tying that crap in, though. Have you seen? Okay, so R5 is in Mando, and we're like, how the hell did he get there?
Yeah.
It's told in one of those a different point of view books. I think it was in the Star Wars A New Hope from a different point of view book, and it explains like what happened to R5D4 after he blew his motivator. And it's like, oh my god.
Okay.
Seriously?
All right,
yeah.
we're doing that.
Yeah, so he has a backstory to explain how he ends up in the Mando. Yep.
Okay. Well, moving on
So
to
why the hell not?
moving. Sorry, I was gonna say like this. Just get these out of the way. Moving on to the other two animated announcements. Tales of the Jedi season 2. Don't care. Vision
Did
season
you watch
2.
Tales of the
Really,
Jedi season 1?
I tried and I'm just like, not a fan. Not
Those
a
were
fan.
interesting. It's like little bite-sized nuggets of a Clone Wars episode, but on topics that didn't really matter.
That was my thing. I'm like, I don't really care
yeah, it
about
fills
this.
in a few questions, but how many people are asking those questions?
Yeah.
Like,
Speaking
do
of
we need
things
to
I don't
see
really-
how Yaddle died.
Yeah. She was killed in the damn Jedi Purge. I don't care what anybody says.
Right?
So, getting into something I really, really, really don't care about. Visions season 2. Yeah, no. Not at all. Hated the first season. Hated it. There was not anything I liked about it. It was terrible.
I'm kind of looking forward to this, to be honest.
Well, all right. Yeah.
Only because I had a good time drinking and making fun of all of Visions season 1 with Steve on a WTF Friday episode. Not because it's actually good material at all. Just because it's what is it?
Pure shit.
Lampoonable, I guess. Yeah.
By the way, I'm on the right side of the screen now because I didn't just
Roastable.
I didn't put myself I didn't put you in solo layout. I actually removed myself from the stream. Because
Well, there you go. I fixed everything. Everything's right with the universe now.
Yeah, I couldn't stand it. I hated that show. I hated it. Like,
Oh, it's bad. It's bad.
I'm like, okay, I get it. They want to have other people's interpretations and stuff, but I don't. I don't want your stupid anime. I mean, this season they've got claymation, for Christ's sakes. Like, what are you doing? Stop it already. We've got more than enough content to where you don't have to have people jerking around with it. I hated it, and the story
Star Wars
sucked.
meets Fantasia. Ugh.
Yeah, and dude, it was that, and you know, like the story sucked. They weren't even intriguing stories. I'm like, what the hell is this? Go away. I know I'm acting like, you know, get off my lawn guy, but I don't care. The stories did absolutely nothing for me. At least if it was like, oh, well, these are kind of cool. You know, it's kind of like the whole Marvel thing with the What If series. I'm like, oh, stop it, will you? Just friggin' cut it out. Move on with your 8,428 characters and a billion possibilities so that none of the movies count anymore. Let's move on. I don't need to see, you know, frickin' what's her nuts, whatever, Captain America's girlfriend. I don't need to see her in Captain America gear, but with like the Union Jack on it. Piss off. Nobody wants to see that shit. Just stop it. Sometimes you don't have to be that creative to come up with everything. You just don't. Some things are flat unnecessary, and Visions is flat unnecessary. And I know there's a ton of people that are going to disagree, but it's my opinion, and you know, whatever.
That's the beauty of Star Wars, is it's so broad that you don't have to like everything, you know?
Yeah. Well, I mean, and you're right. I mean, it's one of those things that as much as I'm like, screw this, I've said it before on the show, I love when they do things like this because, you know, it does open up doors for more content. There's a lot of people that like it, so it keeps Star Wars fans engaged, which is awesome. And I like that it opens the door for other content because that might be something I do like. So,
Yeah.
you know, I mean, it's pretty cool. You know, I mean, for example, Rebels is a perfect example. Don't like Rebels, but if Ahsoka turns out to be awesome, well, Rebels opened the door for that show. So there you go. I got something out of it. So that's pretty cool.
Yeah.
You know.
Yeah, you can credit Rebels for having Thrawn. So
Well, I was literally just about to say that. So yeah, that's you know, my take on that. But I mean, it is what it is. So. Yeah,
And the one-
Mimar. Yeah, look, Mimar said, "Too bad they don't have any budget to make this better or make it make sense." Yeah, I mean, I'm with you, Mimar. Like, I mean, it looks cool, and I guess that like some of the junkier looking stuff, that's the style. But yeah, just not my thing. I don't. So, all right, we've gone through the Star Wars stuff, but there was one more thing. There was one more thing they talked quite a bit about at Star Wars Celebration. That, quite frankly, not to be gross, gives me a boner. That boner is wearing a fedora.
Gross.
Well, you know, I don't care. Indiana Jones 5, June 30th of this year, The Dial of Destiny. Oh my God. I cannot wait.
How good?
I cannot wait. Dude, I cannot friggin' wait. And I'm bummed out that Steven Spielberg didn't do it. But James Mangold did. Isn't it James Mangold? And by the way, he did some interviews this weekend. He seemed like kind of a dick. I was like, this guy just seems kind of like a cocky prick. And like, I was like, this is interesting.
But those yet.
Yeah, I was not impressed. But I mean, it could just be me. But yeah, not having Steven Spielberg is going to be real interesting. Like, are you going to lose that feel?
I hope it's not like a Ghostbusters Afterlife kind of thing where you go in expecting the third Ghostbusters movie and you just don't get that.
What I glean from the whole thing is that it's basically, they even say in the trailer, I've been searching for this my whole life. So I would have to assume that it's like the storyline's going to be, oh, well, there's this thing that I always wanted and I've never gotten it, and this is it. Like, this is the culmination of his whole career, But when James Mangold was talking about it, he said that basically it's kind of like, it's in the 60s, and he said heroes like Indiana Jones are out. It's just not cool anymore. So he has to kind of prove himself all over again as like a worthy hero, someone to look up to, some guy, And I was like, all right, that's pretty cool. For me, just give me more Indiana Jones. I'm already happy that the damn movie exists, okay? I mean, I did a whole freaking episode about why Crystal Skull rules, and so just give me more Indiana Jones kicking ass, man. Like, Indiana Jones is basically what I would love to see from Star Wars. If you just have movies of Han Solo and Chewbacca flying around the Millennium Falcon just whooping ass for 2.5 hours or a few years, like, that's fine. Let's do it. Sign me up, dude. Just sign me up. And that's what Indiana Jones is. It's just mindless kick-ass fun. And this movie, like the trailers they've released, just look so cool. And I'm sitting there trying to figure out who the friend is that the one of the other main characters is like his goddaughter. Like, okay, so who's the friend? It's I can't wait. I cannot wait, man. I can't wait. Oh, I can't wait. I'm so freaking excited. I'm just so pumped up. And obviously that night, when the movie comes out, we're going to come out of the theater and do our show after we've seen the movie. We're going to go live like that night with it. And, oh, man.
How excruciating is it going to be for you knowing that it's premiering at Cannes on May 18th and you have to wait until June 30th to see it? There's going to be like 6 weeks of people telling you how awesome it is or how shitty it is before you get a chance to make up your mind.
I'm kind of used to that, so it's not really going to kill me too much. However, it's going to annoy me if the reviews are like, oh, this is bad, this is bad, this is bad. Because, I mean, can you really make a bad Indiana Jones movie? People will point to Crystal Skull, but it's like, it's still a fun movie. I mean, you're just there to see special effects and ridiculousness. So is it really that bad? And,
You already did an episode on that. We can move on.
Yeah. Well, I mean, but you know what I mean. So it's going to make me sad.
My answer would be yes, it can be. So let's move on.
All right. I'm just going to talk about this myself. AJ got dumped from the show for dissing Indiana Jones. He should have known better. Crystal Skull rules and AJ's an idiot. All right, let's bring him back. Yeah.
I had a whole episode to go off on that, okay?
I really want this to be great.
I can't believe they waited until now to announce that John Williams did the score.
Oh,
Like,
yeah.
Why did they bury that?
I don't know, man. He said it was, Episode 9 was his last Star Wars movie, but I kind of assumed it was like one of his last movies. I mean, the guy's 91.
Mm-hmm. Hey,
So
man,
yeah, that was definitely an
that's
interesting.
fine.
Yeah,
that
that
is
was
more than fine with me. Like, that's awesome.
at least that's going to keep it grounded in that feel, you know. As long
That
as
and the punch sound. As long as he punches someone and it has that classic sack of potatoes sound or whatever the hell it is.
I swear to God, if James Mangold tried to update things and like, oh, this is what it would sound like, this is like, I'd be like, dude, why did you do that? Like, just why? It's like the Rise of Skywalker. Here, let's introduce some new characters. No, we don't need new characters. It's the last movie of a 9-film saga. Just fucking get to the point with what we have. I don't need Janna. I don't need Zuri or Zori Bliss. Well, no, I take that back. I definitely needed Babu Frick. But just stop with the new characters. Like, just go with it, man. It already exists. Let's roll. So I'm hoping that, you know, I'm really hoping that doesn't happen with Indiana Jones. But you know, hopefully James Mangold has respect for the source material.
Yeah. I wonder with all the de-aging stuff if there's going to be some sort of like a dual timeline thing going on.
Well, I mean, there's obviously there's flashbacks, you know, because we've seen that, like he's in a Nazi uniform and stuff, and I mean, if this is like the artifact he's looking for his whole life, I mean, they're bound to say, oh, I was looking for it, and this happened when I was looking for it this one time, and this, that, and the other, and you know.
What if there's actual time travel in this? How pissed are you going to be?
Oh, please, why you got to do that? Why you got to do that? I was already thinking that the dial of destiny, like it moves and it's a dial tells time, and believe me, I had that thought. I told you, I've been sleeping like crap before we got on the air, and that's why. That's why. Ever since that thought got into my head, alongside of the fact that there's going to be goddamn live action space whales, I'm having a hard time sleeping. Okay, so it's.
These are, by the way, audience, these are legit the things he does lose sleep over. He's not kidding.
I seriously, I will yell in the theater. Like, they'll just, if time travel comes up, the movie theater, you might hear a little grumbling, but somewhere right in the middle of the theater, the whole place is going to hear really loud, fuck! Like, there might be a certain fat guy that wears a lot of Star Wars clothes just standing up in the middle of an Indiana Jones movie, marching out, mumbling, nope, not today, James Mangold. Not today. Nuh-uh.
Oh, man, oh, man.
So,
yeah, it was actually a pretty news-packed celebration. Like, usually the European ones are, oh, God.
our cousin.
Chris, damn it, dude. This is why he doesn't come to meetings.
I know. Right? Our cousin Chris says Indiana Jones and the World Between Worlds. Indiana Jones and the Space Whales. Oh, my God.
That's the dial. The dial opens up the World Between Worlds. It's a crossover.
It's just going to be the movie that it was specifically made for me to hate.
No, and that's how. So Indiana Jones ends up pulling Harrison Ford, pulling Han Solo from Starkiller Base before it blows up.
I'm 1,000,000% on board with that idea.
We can write some good Star Wars, man.
I'm 1,000,000% on board.
I can't wait for the Tick at Jabba's Palace series, and now we're going to see the Han Solo sequel trilogy. It's going to be great.
It's so good. Oh, my God. So, anyways, back on track. You were saying that, we got a lot of news, yada, yada.
Mm-hmm.
So, sorry to interrupt.
Because usually the U.S. ones have all the stuff going on, right? So, at least it was something fun. I legit, for anyone who was able to make it over to there, I'm glad that they had, a worthy celebration to check out. And it was 4 days of actual stuff instead of like everything on day one, and then just hope you're there because otherwise it's boring as hell.
Well, I'm seeing a ton of complaints online, actually. And people are saying, they're saying that, first of all, the lines were terrible, and, the panel lottery's not fair, and, they need to have an algorithm so that, some people don't get 4 and some people get 0. And my response would be, hey, dummy, use multiple email addresses, figure out a way to do that. I did it, and it worked beautifully. But yeah, they're saying that, There wasn't enough on the
Also,
show floor.
Tough titties.
Yeah. I mean, the only one that I agreed with that I saw repeatedly was that the staff didn't really know what the hell was going on. The line queues were terrible
That's a
to get
freaking
in,
complaint.
because we had that problem. Like, where the hell are we supposed to stand? Like, where
Day
we
one
go?
especially, yeah.
Yeah, and that was the same complaint that a lot of people had. But yeah, there were.
How do you practice that? How do you dry run getting 30,000 people in and out of a building
Well,
simultaneously?
I mean, first of all, say here's the line to get in, here's the overflow line. I mean, it's just, but they didn't even know that. I mean, again, you and I stood there and had that problem. It's like, hey, dickhead, where am I going? And second of all, especially at the size of these convention centers, can they please just open up all the goddamn doors at 10 a.m. and go walk in? It's not like every person's going to funnel through one stinking door, okay? There's going to be a lot of dummies that are going to try and, like, wedge their way into the main door. But there's going to be a lot of people like me and you that know, okay, let's go to one of the auxiliary doors. It's only like an extra 2-minute walk. And we'll be in there, probably beat most of these idiots at the back of the main line. It's, just open the doors. Open the blast doors. Open the blast doors. It's not difficult. I mean, I'm sorry. But, other than that, people were saying that there wasn't enough stuff on the show floor. They said, oh, they've got all this other room on the show floor. They didn't use it. Like, well, how much crap do you want to have in there, dude? Like, and people said,
That's
oh,
up to the vendors. Yeah, if people don't sign up to be there, it's
Yeah.
not the organizer's fault.
and they said, oh, and we didn't get enough stuff, out of the panels and everything. I'm going, what? Yeah, that's there aren't movies coming out.
We just covered like 13 different things coming out.
Yeah, I mean, it just
And
sounded.
that wasn't even the books or anything. We didn't even cover video games or books. We're just talking about animation, movies, and TV.
Yeah, people. I just think were, just kind of ungrateful. I think. I mean, it's for us. I get it.
That's
Like,
always the thing, isn't it?
yeah, to
The
me, it's like
vocal
what?
minority.
Yeah, I'm like, what do you want? I mean, Celebration is amazing. It is such a huge convention, and there's so much to do. It's I mean, could there be like maybe a better way to get into panels and stuff? Yeah, I mean, maybe. I mean, that's the only thing I kind of don't like is, like, if I want to go to the Doug Chang panel, I better queue up for like an hour and a half, and sit there, with my thumb up my ass. But I mean, there's not really a better way to do that. I mean,
Is that even the case anymore? They went to digital queues for 2022 in Anaheim.
yeah,
You didn't
but
have
I
to
mean,
queue up for anything. You just knew if you got in or didn't.
well, but also don't forget with that was also screwed up. Oh, you better update your. Oh, it's not working. It's not working. Oh, you gotta re-download the app.
Go to-
Well, thanks
yeah,
for
go to the
telling
App
us.
Store. By the way, the Wi-Fi is crushed, and you can't even get 1 bar of reception in here.
Yeah, I mean, there's improvements that can be made, sure, but I think a lot of people really take it for granted. I think they really do, and I also think they don't understand just how difficult it is to put on a convention of that size. And I understand that, like, the solution would be to limit the amount of tickets that they sell, so it's easier to get around. But if you do that, you're not going to get Ewan McGregor. You're not going to get Hayden Christensen, because those celebrities cost money, whether you like it or not. There's a reason they're charging $300 for an autograph. I mean, that's just for their autographs.
That's the thing. When they talk about, like, oh, it's so nice of them to show up to this convention. Oh, no, don't worry. They are well compensated for that appearance. This
Yeah.
is not charity.
Yeah. I mean, a lot of them would do it for the fans, but yeah, they're getting paid. So I mean, you have to just deal with the fact that that's how it is. You need to plan your celebration better, And a lot of and then there's these people that are bitching. It's the collectors, and I couldn't get the exclusive this, I couldn't get the exclusive that. Well, tough shit. That happens. You can't. This is my voice
it's an
tonight.
exclusive, which means they can't just like make one for every ticket holder because they don't know how many people are going to buy them. So there's going to be fewer available than people want them because they can't do anything with the overstock, or else it's not an exclusive.
Yeah, and it always seems to be the hardcore collectors that get pissed off. And it's like sometimes there's people that just go to the convention for fun. They're not collectors, like me. Like I don't collect. But would I like to get the Lego exclusive? Yeah, because I like Legos, and I could put it up on my shelf and be like, "Oh, check that out!" But do I ever get one? Hell no, it's impossible.
Yeah.
So, but these guys get all butthurt about it. It's like, come on, man. Like, let some other people have fun. It's, sometimes it's just sour grapes for sour grapes, I think. And I don't understand. Like, what more do you want? I mean, I really don't. Mine is supposed to be
exclusives, though. With the exclusives, though, they could have the option. I don't know if they know this far in advance, but when tickets go on sale, or maybe even after tickets go on sale, people that are ticket holders should be able to pre-order exclusives. They could do at least that much to have an idea of how many are guaranteed, paid for in advance, and all you're doing is going and picking it up that day. And then produce like some amount more for walk-ups. So they could
I think that would work
better with the exclusives.
I think that would be a good idea. I mean, they could, and hell, just limit the amount of pre-orders too, kind of like a hotel reservation or tickets to the show. But I just think, again, I think people would just find something to complain about. It would just, they bitch
it's
about
already
that.
gotten so much better. Think back to like 2010. Think of the experience that was compared to ours in Anaheim last year. It has gotten immeasurably better, even though we're complaining about stuff. The virtual queues are a game changer right there. The number of exclusives has actually increased from what I've read, because the attendance has increased. So they're hard to get, but they're not as hard to get as they used to be.
Yeah.
There's activities, the celebrities that they've gotten have improved. I mean, it was like mind-blowing to get Ian McDermott, and now he's at like every one, for example.
Yep.
Hayden Christensen had never attended one, and then he's done like two in a row now or something.
Yep.
Ewan McGregor, same deal. Like, what do you want? There are improvements time and time again. So it ain't perfect, but it is better. You can't hope for perfection. You can just hope for progress.
Yeah. And again, I just think people get miserable, and they want everything to go exactly their way, and if it doesn't, well, the convention is shit. Like, no, like it's really not. Like, you live in a world of Star Wars for an entire freaking week, and they do an awesome job of presenting so much content. It's not even funny. And you get all this exclusive stuff, and when you get into the panels, for example, I mean, we were there. When I was in the Mando season 3 panel, I got like 6 minutes of season 3 that no one saw. Bad Batch, we got Bad Batch that no one saw. It's cool. They give you those nuggets where it's like, if you're there, you get something extra, you get something special, and the experience itself is so amazing that I'm just really surprised that there's so many people actually saying, well, I'm not going to go to another one until they fix it. Like, well, good. Get the hell out of the line then. Maybe I'll finally get a Jedi Master Pass. Screw you. It'll more of a chance for me to get a room at the Rosen when they go back to Orlando. So it bums me out seeing those complaints, because I think they're missing the spirit of celebration, and it's just kind of a bummer. But to each their own. To each their own. I mean, they have their opinion. I have mine. That's only one can be right, and obviously it's mine. But I respect their opinion. Yeah. So it is what it is. So
they've got 2 to 4 more years to bitch about this one before they have a new one to bitch about.
Dude, that's the other thing that I thought of, and then we can get out of here in a few minutes. But like, the other thing I thought of was all these people that when it pops up, because they announce these things like 2-3 years in advance. And then it gets close to it. People go, well, I can't afford this. Well, but you knew about it like 2 years ago. Right. Now you've got 4 years. So if I start seeing people that go, well, I've never been to a celebration, and like, I can't afford this. Like, but you knew.
Yeah.
Like, you were told in 2023 it's going to be in Japan in 25, which means it's going to be another 2 years. You knew you had 4 years. So if you want to go, start setting aside what you can, and even if it's not a lot, it's a head start.
If you can sock away $50 a month between now and then, you've got a hell of a stash to go on that.
Yeah,
trip.
That's
like
$2,400
or something. Yeah,
yeah. So I can't wait to see
that happen.
I mean, I'll probably do it just for my flight. Flight and hotel. See if I could save it up ahead of time. Then all I got to worry about is spending money. Then I'm really in the black, man. I can just do whatever the hell I want. And honestly, that's my goal, is to do one where I just have so much money that I'll bring money home. Just not even have to sweat.
That was the sweet thing about last year was having everything paid for in advance.
Yeah, but I mean, then again, you and I have been to so many that we know like pretty much all of the tricks at this point. So
Yeah,
it's,
good point.
especially me, I'm a little anal about that. So, but it is what it is. One last thing about Celebration, that we can get out of here. But speaking of tricks, apparently the lightning lane or whatever to get into the store, people were saying that they weren't even checking to see if people had reservations. So there were people that just walked. They were like, "Screw this! I'm going to see what happens if I walk in the lightning lane, walk in the store," and they did it. No one stopped them. So they just literally, instead of waiting in like the 2-hour, 3-hour line, they just right in there. I was like, "Wow, good for you, man." So if there's ever anything we want in the store, yeah, if there's ever anything we want in the store, we just walk through there. And when they go, "Do you have a lightning pass?" Like, what? I thought this was the line to get in. Just lie. And if we get kicked out, we get kicked out. So, that'll be cool. So, anyway, man, it was a good show. Good talking to you again about all this stuff. And we have our savings account started for Celebration 2027 to celebrate the 50th anniversary of Star Wars. We know that's going to happen. So, we'll not be in Japan. But yeah, all the Celebration stuff was awesome. And we were going to be talking Mando season recap in 2 weeks. And what's the date going to be? Today's the 26th.
Yep.
So on April 26th, we will be back here at 8:15 p.m. Eastern Standard Time to give our review of season 3 of The Mandalorian. I'd like to talk a little bit of Bad Batch, so maybe we'll get into that too. If not on that show, we'll do another one because Bad Batch is cool. But thank you guys for tuning in. It was good to see you, Cousin Chris, Mimar. Awesome to have you as always. And guys, remember, if you're watching on YouTube, click that like button, click that subscribe button, and smash that notification bell. We are brought to you by Audible. Go to audibletrial.com/NHC for your 30-day trial and a free audiobook download, kind of like the 18-hour George Lucas biography I'm currently digging through right now. That's really good. So you can get that book for free if you like. And don't forget to get customizable Nerf Herder Council swag at shop.nerfherdercouncil.com. So until next time, I'm your host JT at Dog Pound Jedi. He is AJ
at Drake Adams 579.
And we'll catch you next time, just not in Japan in 2025.